So Palia is not my normal kind of game, so I appreciate you coming to check out my opinion on this, but because it falls under the MMO category and the MMO world at the moment, it's a little bit dry. There's not too much going on. I thought this could be an interesting change of pace and, you know, yeah, basically a different change of pace for me and what I normally do. So what is Palia? If you haven't heard of it, Palia is basically this very cutie, relaxed MMO. It has MMO elements to it, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it doesn't have any like proper combat. It has tools and skills and kind of things that you would normally find in an MMO, but they call it a cozy MMO. So I recently had the opportunity to play. I got into the closed beta testing basically, and they've granted us permission to share our impressions of the game. Now, some of this content may have changed since then, some of the recordings. I don't know really how much I'm allowed to share, but they didn't really specify. So some of the footage that you're going to see here is from very recent, as in like today, and some of the footage will be from a week or so ago in the sort of closed impressions beta testing scenario. So the first thing, like most games or most MMOs, you're going to do is create your character. Now, they have a pretty good character creation with quite a bit of customization. So you get to pick some clothes off the bat, you get to change your face, your hair. There's even two-tone hair styles, but I was very disappointed. No beards. However, since I first started playing the game, the director has announced that beards are coming to Palia. Fantastic. So the way the game kind of plays out is there are these quite a few small side quests with an overarching larger quest line. So they're pretty fun. You basically visit this person, visit that person, deliver this gift, deliver that gift. You have to cook things, you have to improve your housing, and you know, hunt things, fish things like that. Very sort of nice side quests. A lot of it is actually interacting with the NPCs. What you'll find is that the NPCs during the day kind of go to work, and in the evening they all have houses and they go sleep at night. So there's different quests in the day that there is at night and things like that. So that's kind of a new take on NPCs. But there is this larger quest line which seems to be, you know, we seem to be uncovering like the ancient history of the island. So we have to unlock these vaults, visit these ancient ruins, and at some point you'll reach your first kind of hurdle where you have to then go and collect more things and kind of solve riddles and puzzles. And they've actually done a pretty good job with the main quest line, and the side quests are kind of cute, and they give you this progress to actually, you know, advancing your character, building up your housing plot and stuff. So they've done a pretty good job with the quest line. You get most of your smaller side quests from NPC relationships. So the more you speak to a character, to an NPC, the more you gift to them, the more quests you'll essentially receive. Now, this is something that I'm not very far in at all. I think you can get up to like level 3. You can actually romance some of them by gifting them chocolates and stuff like that. But there's quite a large part of the game is actually building relationships with these characters that you'll meet in the game. So instead of your typical weapons, you have tools and equipment, and you use your tools to level up your skills. So a lot of you guys might know me from New World. It's kind of like New World. You have to do your fishing, your gathering, your mining per se. You use these tools that you can upgrade to then upgrade and enhance and level up your skills essentially, which then relates back to your quest lines and your NPC relationships and things like that. You kind of start building up your skills to then complete quests down the line. One of the places you'll be able to use one of your pieces of equipment or a tool, your watering can, is in your housing plot. Now, the housing plot seems to be one of the biggest appeals to this game. One of the biggest appeals. They have a very good housing feature. So the way this works is you typically work on your own plot. You can build the house, you can extend the house, you can create a garden, you refine your resources there to then build new things and increase your weapons and have new tools and so on and so forth. Most of it's done at your housing plot, which is your house, and you have this huge garden. And what you can do is you can expand this housing plot that you have and ultimately have a massive place at the end. Now, one of the parts that was really exciting to me is obviously the MMO side. I love playing multiplayer games. Now, this is where I thought things could be quite interesting. You know, you can build a community in the game. You can have a community set up, kind of like a guild or a company, say, in New World, but you can't really seem to do anything. What we did manage to do is the boys managed to come over. I had my cooking station set up. I started creating some food, and like, I don't know, Banana was in the oven, Dean was chopping some mushrooms, Syph was watching. It was funny, but they really, in my opinion, need to improve on this. You know, considering they're pushing this as like a cozy MMO, and a lot of the sort of promotion is about playing with friends and, you know, getting cozy with friends and doing like fun things, there is sort of a lack of that kind of team play there. So, you know, what would be nice is you could come around my plot, I could give you access to it or whatever, and you could put iron ore in my smelter, and I could then use that resource resources. We could kind of pool together to work like a community housing plot or something like that. That would be quite cool. And potentially things like maybe shared quests, maybe some of the main story quests you could do with friends rather than doing it on your own. That would be quite nice. But in general, the housing plot's very cool. It's very, very well made, but it'd be nice to bring in some shared elements to that part of the game. And I mean, that's pretty much it in a cozy nutshell. Yeah, that is basically the game. And you know, in general, I do think the game is fun, but it's one of those games that I think you're either going to main it because this is your thing, or you're going to potentially give this a try because you're kind of feeling like the MMO space is a bit dry. Now, we do have obviously the big boy titles out there such as WoW, Guild Wars 2. All of these are still holding a massive player bases, but I know there's a lot of people that are really looking for something new, something to kind of get their teeth in. We've got some amazing games on the horizon. Well, touch wood, some amazing games on Horizon, like Throne of Liberty, PAX Day, you know, people like Wayfinder, Ashes of Creation, and obviously there's future games coming out as well, Riot MMO and so on and so forth. But Palia may be this place for you to enjoy, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. The game doesn't seem like a massive MMO. It's not going to take you thousands of hours to complete it, I don't think. But yeah, it could be a little bit of fun. Could be a bit of fun. We will be making guides about this on the website. This is essentially where I started playing the game. I thought it would be quite fun to make some YouTube content too. So I'll actually be creating some more videos on this, maybe some guides on how to get gold quickly, where to find this quest or how to do that. We find it and we create a guide on it. Maybe I'll do a video guide as well. So if you're interested in more Palia content while we're waiting for some more kind of PvP heavy stuff, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and maybe see you in the next Palia video. Maybe you'll unsubscribe. Please don't. Love you. See you in the next one.